Hello everybody and welcome back to our Fast Fact series, and for this Fast Fact we're going to examine the Gracchi, the careers of the Gracchi. And the Gracchi refer to two brothers, Gaius and Tiberius Gracchus. And it was their careers, their actions were just shocking events in Roman history. What happened to them, why they did it, and of course the lasting effect that it would have on Rome. So in our lectures, we've been discussing how the Second Punic War and the Roman expansion into the Eastern Mediterranean created a cauldron of trouble for Rome. The Roman people at all levels of society, from slaves to patricians, were deeply unhappy, deeply unsatisfied, and there were very serious rifts that had emerged in Roman society. The Gracchi were the grandsons of Scipio Africanus. The elder brother was known as Tiberius Gracchus, and he became worried about the tensions building within Rome and within Italy. He decided to do something about it. He ran for and was elected as the tribune of the plebs, and he was. It is said that he was inspired by seeing the sight of disposed farmers and the great aristocratic estate that were being worked by the gangs and the throngs of slaves. Tiberius Gracchus took advantage of the tribune's power to propose laws, and he put forth a piece of legislation that he brought directly before the people before first consulting with the Senate. Now, the main thrust of his proposal was that there should be a law limiting the amount of land that one man was allowed to own. And of course, this put him at odds with the patricians in the Senate, because the patricians in the Senate were the owners of these great aristocratic estates worked by these throngs of slaves. This would be a law that would, of course, negatively affect them, so they weren't very interested in doing that and seeing that be done. Tiberius also included a provision to distribute government land among the poor Roman citizens, free public land amongst the poor Roman citizens. Now, after hearing of his plans, a number of senators and their followers, they became enraged. They broke up the benches that they were sitting on, and they beat Tiberius Gracchus to death, along with 300 of his followers. Now, the death of Tiberius Gracchus was a shocking event and a harbinger of things to come. What the Senate did was they introduced violence, open and naked violence, into the affairs of the Republic with the assassination of Tiberius Gracchus. They literally beat him up in the Senate House. There's blood on the Senate floor. In the late Republic, politicians will begin to use open and naked violence to settle their political disagreements, and the assassination of Tiberius Gracchus set the precedent for it. Political violence will become the norm from now on. In Roman history, political violence will become the norm until the collapse of the Western Empire. In 123 BCE, the younger Gracchi, the younger brother, Gaius Gracchus, decided to pick up where Tiberius had left off. Gaius also runs for, and he is also elected, tribune of the plebs. Now, after his election, he promptly puts forward the very same legislation that his brother had suggested. Now, Gaius was very aware that there were other dissatisfied groups in Rome, and he added a number of redresses designed to build a broad consensus of support for his proposal. He proposed that the Roman government give subsidized grain to all of the inhabitants of Rome, a relief measure for the city's destitute. He also proposed that the Italic allies finally be granted full Roman citizenship. Many of these allies had been in the Roman Confederation, had been allies of Rome from the very beginning. And they were still, and they were aggrieved. They were very grieved that they still only had half citizenship, or only the elites of these cities had half citizenship. they wanted the full franchise. They had fought with Rome. They stood by Rome through the Hannibalic invasion of Italy, and they wanted to be full members of Rome's endeavors. They wanted the full franchise of Roman citizenship. Gracchus also, and it's a guy Gracchus, but he also proposed to build more roads within Italy, had the means of improving communication, travel, and commerce, but also in addition to providing work for the unemployed. Now the Senate was once again unenthused by the proposals, and they were still smarting over the negative reaction from the public over Tiberius's death. So the senators, they did not kill Gaius Gracchus. They simply let it be known that they would reward any man who killed him. And it wasn't long before an assassin killed Gaius Gracchus and presented his head to the senators, who promptly paid the man his gold for committing his dirty deed. And that brings to an end our little fact on the Gracchus, and there's more that can be said on the Gracchus. They were truly a very interesting pair, and we still don't know their true motivations. We don't know whether this is just an example of self-interested, ambitious young men exploiting clever and new ways to gain public power, or whether they were just truly altruistically looking to help their fellow countrymen and bring in true reforms to improve their country. We don't really know, but it is a very exciting topic to talk about and to read about. So there you have it, our fast fact on the Gracchi. Hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you thought about this, and I'll see you guys next time for another fast fact.